What's going on, everybody? This is UTXJG the Don on behalf of Illuminaughty.com here with a Venom review. I have Patreon backers JKL. Say what up.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
We have Dr. J back again. Say what up.
What up?
And we have 4 Up. Say what up.
What's up? What's up?
All right, so let's get into it. I feel like we are the brave souls, according to everybody else, especially in GI, who spent our hard-earned money to go see Venom. Oh my God, it was such a chore. I don't know how we survived watching this in theaters. Like, people, I feel like Venom has gotten unnecessary hate because there have been some really bad Marvel movies. We're acting like Marvel is perfect here, which they are not. Who wants to remember the first Hulk? That was pretty bad. Fantastic Four was pretty bad. The first Captain America, even though it was very important to the story for the first half of Avengers, I feel like that was pretty boring. Like, I had to sit through that, and I didn't really like the first Captain America. Same with the first Thor. Like, that wasn't the best out of the Thor movies. They ended up getting better as we went along, but if we're going to talk about like bad and boring Marvel movies, there have definitely been a good amount. So I don't understand the hate that Venom was getting. And this was just because of the previews. I remember when the first previews came out, there was a rumor that said that like Venom didn't even show up until like an hour after the movie, which I would say that that's not true. I don't know if any of you disagree, but I would say Venom showed up like in the first 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Would you all agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah.
Like it didn't take that long, basically. So like for all the people that had this preconceived notion just because of the rumors and the initial trailer that he showed up super late, that's not true. Like, this isn't a Spider-Man 3 situation, so I don't want anybody thinking that. But Spider-Man, like, by itself, that's gone through, some reboots as well, and I can't say that all of those Spider-Man movies were good either. So again, like, I just feel like Venom was just getting some bad hate. And I remember when the reviews came out, like, it sounded even worse to a lot of people. And we had people in GI, TBH was being the main one. I don't watch bad movies. So I was like, all right, bro. I went to go see the movie Thursday night, and I was like, it's really not that bad. So for anybody who was thinking that, I will say here, before we even get into the thick of things with Venom, that I didn't think that this was a bad Marvel movie. I didn't think that it was a bad solo film for introducing Venom. So I'm just going to go off of that, and I'll go to the room and ask you all that. How did you initially feel about Venom after you were watching? Did you like it? Did you hate it? I don't want you getting fully into it, but like, were you satisfied with what you saw from them actually giving Venom his own story? We'll start off with you, 4 Ups. How would you feel about it?
Yo, I was glad it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I enjoyed it personally. I thought it was pretty fun.
Mm.
I was expecting like Catwoman levels of bad, so I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, that too. Catwoman, Daredevil. Like it's been some bad Marvel movies, but okay.
Right.
Okay, so you thought it was pretty decent. What about you, Dr. J?
I put it in the same category as I put like the Fast and the Furious movies. It was like, it's a good movie to just go turn off your brain, and like, it's enjoyable. But if you go too deep into it, like you start picking apart, then that's when you're like, I don't know if it was that good type thing. But if you're just going, turn off your brain, it's great.
Okay. What about you, JK? How'd you feel about it?
I enjoyed it for the most part. I wouldn't say it was a bad movie, but I'm not gonna really say it was like great either. It was in that in between. Like, it was alright. You know what I'm saying? It was a decent film.
Yeah,
I did have it did have this enjoyable moments though.
Yeah, like I definitely would have put it in the category of like Captain America: Civil War or even Winter Soldier. Nothing like that. I feel like as time went on and the Marvel movie started getting, more and more better, and we start having more characters that have been introduced and having their own movies, which are equally good, I feel like as a Marvel fan, we've kind of gotten spoiled in a sense, like, because I don't think they're like really probably like after the first half of the Avengers movies, we didn't really have like a super bad Marvel movie. So I kind of felt like just a lot of people got spoiled at that point. And then with Spider-Man Homecoming being good as well, people were like, oh no, I don't know how we feel about Venom. So I just think that we were overall spoiled, but Venom wasn't in the category of like what we just named, in my opinion. So let's just get into the plot of the movie. So you had the symbiotes that came from the planet. You had this organization called the Life Foundation that retrieved the symbiotes and were trying to bring it back to Earth. Ended up crashing, and then the symbiotes got loose. Well, some symbiotes were still there. They ended up recovering some of them, but the Riot symbiote, which was supposed to be like one of the main symbiotes in the organization on the planet, he ended up getting loose. And he wanted to basically exact revenge on the Life Foundation and get his brothers back or whatever. But in the meantime, when that happened, you also had Eddie Brock came into the scene. He's like one of these like world journalists or whatever. So he goes around, covering all the stories that people won't cover. And one of his jobs was to interview the CEO of the Life Foundation, which is Carlton Drake. And what he ended up doing, what he ended up finding out, was because of his girlfriend at the time, who he was about to marry, she ended up having some things to do with one of the cases for the Life Foundation. He ended up finding out that they were up to some shady stuff. He was supposed to keep it neutral and just talk about the launching of the rockets or whatever going back into space. But he ended up taking it into his own control and ended up talking about some shady stuff that was going on. He ended up getting fired from his job, lost his girl, lost his house, lost everything. And so he was down on his luck. All of a sudden, when you pan back to what the Life Foundation and Carlton Drake was really up to, you had one of the doctors who was working with him, Dr. Skirt. She ended up was like, nah, like I don't like what you're doing here. Like, we went from testing the symbiotes on animals to testing the symbiote on humans. And how the symbiotes work is they can only get on a host that they're compatible with. So that's what they were basically testing, like what humans are compatible and what humans are not. So they were getting a lot of homeless people to do the testing, and she didn't like that. So she ended up reaching out to Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock ends up sneaking into the Life Foundation. And with that being said, one of the symbiotes that was on one of the homeless girls who we used to see every day ended up getting on him when he tried to save her. So that's how Venom came into play. The symbiote of Venom ended up latching on to Eddie Brock, ended up being a compatible match in the sense, because it still was kind of killing him in the inside. We ended up finding out as we go later on through the movie. But that's how the whole Venom thing began. They ended up having like this, they had an interesting relationship, I would say. Like, that's where the comedy came in, because obviously Venom knows nothing about he doesn't know anything about Earth, excuse me. So like, he wants to just eat everybody, and through that, like, Eddie Brock kind of taught him like, what's good or who's good and who's not, what's good to eat and what's not, trying to like just get him to kind of just settle down, because their main mission was to really just go back to their planet and bring all of the symbiotes back to Earth and basically just destroy it, or just take all the hosts that they want. So that was like one of the main plans that Riot had. So again, that was like the premise of the story. We'll start off with you, JKL. How did you feel about the overall plot and how they basically introduced or tried to introduce, as the best of their ability, Eddie Brock and Venom as its own separate character? How did you feel about the plot?
Now, the plot is where most of my problem comes from.
Okay.
I did feel like they kind of glossed over some. They introduced some plot points at the beginning of the movie, and I feel towards the second half, they kind of forgot about things that they set up and introduced. What happened to what's the yellow symbiote's name? Scream. It was never said that was the name, but in the comics that's the name.
Yeah,
but what happened to that symbiote? They never went back to that. Because it was like, all right, bring in like because when they found out dude was still dying, it was like, all right, bring in the next host or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they never went back to that. Never get told what's happening there. I think the other one died. I'm not sure.
That's what I was alluding to too. I think it did die eventually, because I know that like they can only survive like a certain amount on Earth, but they need a host in order to survive. They can't survive in our climate.
Yeah, but they kind of like glossed over that very quickly, but they never explained what happened to the other one.
Yeah.
This is like
Because they had
forgot. Yeah, they had 3 of them.
right?
Yeah,
so
it was,
that's
it was 3 of them.
So I'm like, if the other one's alive, I'm like, that's still one out there. That's a loose end that y'all did not tie up. But as far as introducing Eddie Brock and Venom as 2 separate characters, I like that due to the fact that that's how it's kind of always been. The 2 separate minds basically in one body. And I will say Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock was easily the most entertaining thing about this entire movie.
Mm.
He's a great actor. And Venom, I like Venom. I thought I liked but didn't like him at the same time. I didn't mind him being a goofball, but he was a bit too much of a goofball, if you get what I'm saying. It's like I didn't mind him having comedic lines like here and there, but they didn't spread them out well. It was just like non-stop consistent jokes, and I was like, all right, it's kind of so whenever they did try to get serious, it was kind of hard to take seriously.
I got you. Okay. What about you, Dr. J? How'd you feel about the plot?
I had most of the same complaints as Jake Hell did. Like, it was alright in the the premise of it was great, but later on towards the execution, I feel like they fumbled just a little bit. With the comedy, like I said, I agree. I'm the opposite with Tom Hardy playing Eddie Brock. I feel like he's trying a little bit too hard to be funny, personally. So. But other than and the villain, he also kind of like fell flat for me. So
Carlton Drake or
yeah,
Riot?
Carlton Drake.
Okay.
Carlton Drake.
Okay. What about you, 4Ups? How'd you feel about it?
No, I definitely agree. I mean, the plot was like nothing new, absolutely nothing new. The most satisfying thing was just seeing like the relationship between like Eddie Brock and Venom, and just seeing how they play with each other. I agree with Dr. J. Like the enemy was just boring, and I feel like they downplayed Riot a lot. Like had him doing like the most unnecessary stuff throughout the movie with the little transfer of bodies and all that, and then like during like the last few like 10-15 minutes or whatever, have him finally do stuff in the final fight. But I don't know, it just wasn't satisfying. I felt like it could have been more. Like the symbiotes that they were testing could have went so much farther. Like they could have did so much more with that, especially with all of the symbiotes that's like in the comics. So I don't know, it was like I said, it was underwhelming in terms of the plot, but Venom and Eddie Brock both made the movie, minus like some of the corny jokes that Venom had, like Dr. J was saying.
Okay. Yeah, I would have to say that definitely the strongest point would be the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom. So I agree with you all there. I like the comedy. I get the complaints about them, when they try to get serious, and it's kind of whack, or it's kind of just weird at that point. But again, I enjoyed the comedy being there all the time with them, and Venom, like, not knowing Earth etiquette in a sense to everything that was going on. But I liked them. I liked them. I would definitely also agree about the villain just kind of being just sort of whack, because it wasn't that he necessarily, like, he didn't want to like destroy the Earth or anything. Like, he did legit want to do research and try to save the world, quote unquote, but he just went about it in a terrible way, because you shouldn't be doing that shit to humans, let alone animals, trying to test symbiotes on that, because they are in a sense a parasite. So it just wasn't cool, like, just watching them, watching all the homeless people, all the test subjects just die instantly because they weren't compatible with the specific symbiote. And then he's like, all right, well, just bring the next one in here. Like, he wasn't shit for that, and the other stuff that he was doing in the past as well. But like, he was just kind of meh. Obviously he turned up once Riot ended up getting to him, but I would also agree that like Riot could have done so much more. He was obviously a lot stronger than Venom and had a lot more tools in his arsenal, but that fight could have lasted longer, or Riot could have done something else besides just, transferring bodies, like you said. And like before we even got to that point where he got to Carlton Drake. So I would agree with that as well. Like some parts, as far as like the overall plot, it just wasn't fully explained, but I felt like they did a decent enough job, in my opinion, to introduce Eddie Brock and Venom, in a sense, because obviously we're going to get a second one here, and I need to figure out like how they're going to tie it, because I wouldn't say that I necessarily wanted a solo Venom movie. I was hoping that Spider-Man 3 would have done the job by itself, but I like that they did this because of the ending. Let's just get straight to the ending credits, because like as far as you're talking about the story, like that was pretty much it. Like it wasn't really much to it, but the ending is what I was looking for the entire time. We finally see Carnage show up. And I'm more of a Carnage fan than the Venom fan. I don't know about you all, but Carnage was one of my like most favorite Spider-Man villains. Like he's just crazy as fuck. He's gonna mess some things up, but the thing that I hated about finally seeing Carnage is the actor who they got to play Carnage. Woody fucking Harrelson, bro. How the hell does it? Okay, I'm gonna say this. I like Woody Harrelson, obviously. Like he's a good actor. But to play Carnage, I don't think Woody Harrelson, first of all, he's old. So that's a knock on him as well. Woody Harrelson is old. Second of all, like that wig was terrible. Oh my God, that wig was disgusting. It was just, oh my God. And third of all, I don't think that Woody Harrelson can match the crazy that we need for Carnage. I think that's just the main thing. Woody Harrelson is a good actor. I just don't think he can necessarily match the crazy that we really need for Carnage. But I mean, I'm excited about it nonetheless. I just hope that it's not a dud because of the actor who they chose. But we'll start off with 4-ups. How did you feel about us finally seeing Carnage? And do you think that they're going to do a good job with the second one? Or do you think it's just going to be a dud?
I was excited. I mean, just like you, I personally like Carnage a little more than Venom. He's like one of my favorite villains. It was kind of obvious, of course, when the post-credit scene was coming on.
Yeah.
Because it was like, who else can it be? Especially in like a Venom storyline, and especially since Riot is supposed to be gone, unless they would have just brought back Riot, which would have been corny. But what I'm concerned with is, because what I was surprised with this movie was that, okay, they made a Venom movie without Spider-Man work. Like I said, I thought it was gonna be terrible, but they made it work and didn't feel like it needed like more Spider-Man or even a Spider-Man reference or anything. I don't know how they're gonna pull that off with Carnage, because even in the comics, Carnage is supposed to be like top dog in terms of overcoming Venom, to where Venom had to team up with Spider-Man several times to beat him. So I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to do that dynamic, because Riot was low-key giving them the hands for a second. But of course, it's Venom's movie, so he won. But Carnage is pretty much supposed to mollywop Venom. So I'm kind of confused. I'm kind of interested to see where this is going.
It kind of reminds me of how when we found out that Thanos was going to be, finally show up, and we were like, okay, well, with this current state of the Avengers, they're going to just get whooped immediately. And then Marvel was like, all right, well, we're going to bring Black Panther in, we're going to bring Doctor Strange in, we're going to bring the Guardians of the Galaxy to at least try to help a little bit. So I'm hoping that they're going to do that. Obviously, they need to somehow find a way to cross Spider-Man in, but I agree with you. Like, I don't know how they're going to do this. I hope
like
that they
Sony
find a good
Spider-Verse.
way. Yeah, it's weird because
like, who can they bring?
This has been the main knock about Marvel, because as soon as you let Fox get some and you let Sony get some, it just makes it all weird. But on the good side, Sony finally let Spider-Man go. So, I mean, we could very well see Spider-Man show back up. We just got to figure out how they're going to do it. Because, like I said, they messed up in the beginning with Spider-Man 3. And that just didn't work. So, you couldn't continue it like you needed to. So, that's why I was just so upset about Spider-Man 3. But, like I said, it's finally coming. But we need to figure that out. So, Dr. J, how'd you feel about finally seeing Carnage?
I was happy, but just like you, when I saw Woody Harrelson and I saw that wig, I was like, God, they're going down that road again. I was not I do not have high hopes for Venom 2 at all. Especially with how, because you said you're a Carnage fan, so you know how Carnage originally comes about in the comic books or whatever. So it's, I don't know. I want to hold out judgment. I don't want to put too much like, oh, it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible. I don't want to put that much negative energy out in the universe just yet. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take a wait and see on it, because I feel the same way about this as I do about fucking, well, how I did feel about fucking Iron Fist season 3.
Oh boy. R.I.P. to Iron Fist, by the way.
Yeah, but
I'm kind of sad, but yeah. Okay. What about you, J. Kel? How'd you feel about finally seeing Carnage?
I was excited for it. The moment I saw the prison, I was like, oh, well, I know this is going. However, when he walked in the room and seeing Woody Harrelson in that Ronald McDonald wig, I didn't know what they were thinking with this casting choice. Apparently, from what I heard, the guy who directed this film was the same guy who directed Zombieland. And, Woody Harrelson was in that as well.
Oh boy, favoritism.
So that's what I heard. That's why he got casted. But even still, it looked really cringe. But at the same time, it was like, it's Carnage. So it was happy but cringe at the same time.
Mm.
My thing was, I was a little confused. I was like, he said when he gets out, there's going to be Carnage. I was a little confused because I was like, does he already have the symbiote? I don't.
That line was corny.
Yeah.
It was.
Now, I think would have helped that line if he would have went like batshit crazy, as he would right after he said that, and like lost his mind or whatever. Instead of just saying there's gonna be Carnage and cut the black, I feel like he should have went crazy, laughing and all that shit. Because I mean, that's exactly how Carnage is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious as to how they're gonna turn him into Carnage. Because I mean, for those of y'all who don't know how Carnage originated, he came from Venom. He got into what's Cassidy's? He got into a piece of Venom, got off of him, and went into his bloodstream, put him in.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be just him getting out, and they're gonna find some way to make that work. But in the second one, but I think I'm just more upset about the casting choice rather than anything. Because we've all said that we were excited about it, but it's really just Woody Harrelson in that terrible wig that just really pissed me off. So I feel like they could have done much better. I would have rather them just choose somebody who we've never heard of before, who could possibly do that role better. You don't need a AAA act, in my opinion, because you already got Tom Hardy. So I feel like that was decent enough, even though a lot of people didn't even like him reprising the role as Eddie Brock / Venom. But you could have done better, in my opinion. They could have done way better than Woody Harrelson. And I'm gonna be I think that was you, Dr. J, said I'm not gonna put that negative stuff in the universe just yet. But it's just not looking good for the people who were already upset and not wanting to see Venom at all. Once they found that out, I really don't think that they're gonna watch it. But I'm just going to hope, I'm going to cross my fingers, and I'm going to hope that they end up making this work. And maybe, just maybe, Woody Harrelson's old ass has some crazy in him that he can just play one of the best Carnage roles ever. Then I'll just shut the fuck up forever and just forget that we even talked about this portion in this review. So I'm just going to hope that happens. How did you all feel about the overall special effects and all of the CGI? Did you feel like it was corny, or did you feel like it did its job? JK, we'll start off with you.
It was decent. I'm not gonna say it. So it could be better, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't like the last fight in Black Panther bad. But it was good enough. Or I'll say it was the motion was very fluid, to where I would say even in the times where it did look bad, I mean, to the untrained eyes, like you really didn't pay attention to all that stuff. So I wouldn't say it was like top notch, but at the same time, it wasn't terrible. It was good enough to pass by.
Okay, Dr. J, you like it or no?
I agree. It was passable. No better, no worse than any other Marvel movie.
Okay, 4-ups.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it was tolerable. I mean, it wasn't bad, wasn't good. I kind of expected a lot of CG because, like, how can you pull off Venom and friends, aka Riot, and any other symbiote without it? So it was cool. I mean, it didn't make me mad. It was pretty sometimes and okay other times.
Yeah, that I would agree. Like, it's not corny. I don't think that any of the CG was really corny or like you could just tell that it was like super bad. I think that it did its job, especially like the parts where like when Venom first came about and like when he was eating heads and all that stuff. Like, I thought that was cool. And then like the parts where he scaled the tall building and the fight with Riot, I thought that those were all decent. So again, like, it's nothing really bad there. I know a lot of people were saying again with the trailer just, I don't know, like it either they did it wrong or I don't know, maybe they showed too much or too little. I'm not sure what the exact issue was that made a lot of people upset. But I know the first trailer before they showed the second one, they didn't see any Venom at all, so that's why a lot of people were making up the rumor saying that Venom's not getting any screen time. He's going to show up in like an hour and a half into the movie, and again, that's not true. But I think that first trailer, maybe they should have brought the second trailer out first when you actually saw Venom, because that's what a lot of people were upset about. Were there any other characters in this entire movie that you felt like was memorable?
Not at all.
No.
Tom Hardy was the only good actor. I feel like he's not the only good actor. I take that back because old girl that was his love interest. She's actually a good actor, but
Michelle
her
Williams.
her character was just really, really, really.
Blah.
Yeah. I did like that one Easter egg they put in there with her with the She-Venom.
Oh yeah.
When Venom took her over. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool how they slid that in there, but there was no memorable characters. That's another flaw with this movie is that the cast that they had was not memorable at all, and like everybody, including the villain, was just forgettable.
Mm-hmm. It really was just it was an origin movie in any of it. That was just like Venom show, no supporting characters, nobody to. Oh, here's they didn't even have like a comic relief other than like Venom. Right. It was just like everyone else was just there, just to die. Like every character who was fucking introduced was
Dr. Skirt died, Carter Drake died, the homeless lady died. Mr. Chen survived.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, Mr. Chen survived the store clerk, so I guess that's cool. But yeah, I mean, you kind of right. 4-ups, did you see anybody memorable in this movie?
I mean, no, not really. Like, I'm surprised you remember all these names because I sure don't.
I'm looking at IMDb, so I ain't even going front. I'm looking at IMDb, and it just comes back to my mind.
I literally got categories: girlfriend, typical bad guy. I remember the comic book characters. I remember their names. Other than that, I don't remember anyone else. She-Venom was really dope, though. I appreciated that. That was memorable for me, and that's why I remember the girlfriend as much as I do. But everything else, no.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of another knock on the film. But then again, Venom, this was the main problem. A lot of people just didn't think that Venom by himself was going to be that entertaining. And while they're kind of right, I still, again, stick to my guns that I feel like it did a decent job with introducing him. Yes, there were some plot holes. Yes, the overall plot wasn't as good. But again, is this Catwoman or Daredevil? No. Is this first Hulk? No. I just felt like it did its job getting from A to B. They need to figure out what's going to go on to get to the C point, which is Carnage, and it's coincidental because that's the first letter of the name. So once you figure out what you need to do to get to Carnage, then I feel like this will be like a full-fledged thing. It'll come full circle, but they need to find out how they're going to implement that. They need to find out how they're going to make Woody Harrelson work as being Carnage or Cletus Cassidy, and they need to somehow implement Spider-Man into this. Now, will they get the new Spider-Man in there? I mean, you obviously need to, but I don't know if they have that in the game plan. But you kind of got to do that. It's just like you have to at least somewhat try to follow the cartoon and the comic book formula. I think that's a really big knock on Marvel films altogether. I know, like, I don't read the comics either, but I at least like watch a lot of cartoons, a lot of Marvel cartoons back in the day. So it's like I don't get necessarily just super upset like, oh, well, you need to do it like this because it was in the comics. I'm not like that, but you kind of have to have it be at least somewhat accurate. You can't just fully stray away because then people are just going to be super upset and then you're not going to watch it. But regardless of what people said, I mean, it still ended up being the #1 movie in the country, and that's just kind of what we saw anyways. Like all that controversy with like A Star Is Born and the rumors like them trying to shit on Venom and give it negative reviews. It didn't work, whether it was true or not. I don't know if that's just because it's Marvel period or if more people like the movie than they would like to admit, but it still ended up being #1. So I mean, you can't really hate on numbers because the numbers did it all. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get around to our final scores on Venom. Dr. J, we will start off with you. What would you give Venom out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It didn't do anything amazing, but it gave us point A to B, and it did a good job at it.
Okay. JKL, what would you give Venom?
I gave it a 6.5.
6.5. Okay. That is fair. 4-ups. What are we giving Venom out of 10?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 6.
Solid 6. Okay. I would also go in the middle. I'll give it a 6.5. I would give it a 7 if Woody Harrelson would take off that ridiculous wig. I was really just fully expecting someone else. I had a whole nother thing in my mind as to who could match that crazy of Cletus Cassidy, but it just didn't work. But I will reserve my judgment for the second Venom movie. I just really, really hope that they find a way to make this work. It will make my young heart glow seeing something like this on the silver screen finally happen. Because I remember when I first saw Carnage in the cartoons and he was fucking shit up, and I was very, very happy at that. So we'll see.
So,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, literally, they only thing they had to do was like when he went in interviewed him, like have him like take a razor blade or something to Eddie, and then his blood is on him. Okay, cool. That's how it's gonna go. And you get to see him act crazy, and then you have a way of that's how Carnage is gonna. That's how he gets the symbiote, and that will be it.
Yeah,
literally.
I mean they tried to not with actual like blood. Well, they did because he was like writing something with blood on the wall in the prison cell, but I still didn't feel like that was crazy enough. Because I would just looked at Woody Harrelson and I was like, this is not you doing it. This isn't believable to me that you would be doing this crazy stuff in the prison cell.
He should have went batshit crazy right after he said there'll be carnage.
Yeah, he should have. They shouldn't have left it at that. So I just feel like
I felt like my uncle wrote that line.
When I get out, there will be carnage. Okay, Woody Harrelson. You're not even Cletus, bro. Okay, Woody. Like, come on, bro. Get out of here.
So did any of you stay back for that second end credit scene?
Yeah.
There's a second one?
Yeah.
They showed like a whole scene for
the Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they showed the whole thing. I mean, you could definitely catch it on YouTube. Like it wasn't it was cool, but it wasn't anything that had anything to do with like the MCU or anything. It was literally an extended preview of Into the Spider-Verse. So it was cool. I'm gonna go see that as well when it comes out. But yeah,
like that's part of the movie.
The theater I went to ain't shit. Like everybody after Carnage, everybody literally cleared the theater and the lights cut on. I was trying to sit there, but I felt like I was stupid and like maybe I was wrong. So I just went home.
Nah, man, there's so
I
many.
knew it was the second one, man.
So many
gotta
Marvel
Google it, bro.
movies that
Sorry.
came out. Nah, you gotta.
Exactly.
That's an
You gotta
etiquette, bro.
Google it.
You should know better by now.
Cause I was making sure before I get up, I was like, hold on, let me Google, make sure it's the second one, and then they're like, yeah, it's 2 end credit scenes. That's why I stayed.
Yeah, my girl did that too, because she also wasn't sure. But she goes to all the movies with me, so I was like, you should know better. But yeah, she just had to make sure. So I ain't mad at it. Just Google and just, make sure there's 2 scenes. But again, like you didn't really miss much, but it was cool. I like the extended preview of it, the extended scene. So there we go. We'll probably be doing that one next. Well, besides Daredevil, because that's coming next week as well. So I don't know if you all have been paying attention, but yeah, Daredevil season 3 is on its way, baby.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting.
I cannot
I didn't
wait.
finish season 2.
Oh, please finish it. I told Sync on the same thing. He needs to just watch. He needs to watch Daredevil. Period. Because he said he didn't even watch it. I'm like, what is wrong with
I
you?
You watch Daredevil?
I didn't even finish season 2 of Luke Cage.
Oh,
What?
I'm not
Yeah,
totally
I'm
mad
terrible.
at you. Yeah, you got some catching up to do. You definitely have
Thing
to
is,
catch up.
I watched like
Started
halfway
it
through the
all.
season. I watched halfway through the season on like every Marvel show that's on Netflix, and then I stop, and for some reason I take like forever to get back to it. Like the first season of Luke Cage, it took me like months to finish it.
Well, I mean, that's your pace. I mean, I ain't mad at it, but definitely check it out. You got to catch up for sure, especially with Daredevil season 2, because to a lot of people, that's one of the best ones ever. As far as the Netflix series, Daredevil season 2. So yeah, check that out. Definitely check that out. But we'll be back. Daredevil season 3 is on its way, so I will have more GI members participating because they actually want to see that. So we'll be back with that review, and also Into the Spider-Verse whenever that drops. We will also be reviewing that as far as Marvel movies. But other than that, man, thank you all for watching the Venom review. Again, if you all want to participate in these videos like JKL, Dr. J, and 4ups on this video, please consider pledging to our Patreon. If you all have not noticed, we have dropped the tier to $10. $10 to be in the video. So again, it's very, very worth your money to support GI, and we appreciate it so much. If you want to get into more rewards, again, we have we did have the raffles, but not anymore. You can still be a part of the Game Illuminaughty podcast. You can be a part of GI Radio whenever I bring that back, and you can also get in the other tiers as well, as far as getting the in the Discord, which you don't need to pay for, but again, you do need to be invited by a GI member, unless of course you paid it $10. So again, we appreciate all the support that you all have been giving us so far, and we will see you all for the next video. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.